Over in the quiet hills of southwestern Vermont, between the towns of Bennington, Woodford, and Glastenbury, lies a region cloaked in mystery, known as the Bennington Triangle. It is a place of unsolved disappearances, chilling folklore, and ghost towns, roughly 100 square miles all centered around Glastenbury Mountain. Locals and indigenous peoples have become very superstitious about the area due to vanishing hikers and tales of the man-eating stone. These mysteries have left investigators and paranormal researchers with unanswered questions for decades. In the 5 years between 1945 and 1950, 5 people disappeared within a 6-mile radius, and to this day their cases remain unsolved. The first disappearance on November 12, 1945, was a 74-year-old hunting guide named Mitty Rivers. He was leading a hunting party and briefly stepped away from his group near a creek in Bickford Hollow. When Mitty didn't immediately rejoin the group, it didn't raise any eyebrows because of the fact that he was a skilled outdoorsman and familiar with the area. However, when the group became suspicious of his absence, they started to search and couldn't find anything. They contacted authorities and an extensive search ensued. The large-scale search was performed by volunteers, the Vermont State Guard, and military personnel. But despite all of these efforts, there was no body ever found, just a single rifle cartridge and a handkerchief. The next disappearance occurred on December 1st, 1946. A Bennington College student named Paula Jean Weldon finished her shift at the dining hall and decided to go for a hike. She hitched a ride to a well-known trail in Woodford Hollow, where she was seen by a group of hikers going north. That night, Weldon did not return to campus. Her roommate contacted the college's administration, who then contacted the authorities, and a search took place. The search originally started on campus itself, but over the next couple days, her visit to the long trail in Woodford Hollow was discovered. After weeks of searching, with hundreds of volunteers, family members, National Guard troops, and firefighters, they were unable to find a body or any trace of her whereabouts. Investigations did not lead to any arrest, but the panic and chaos that it caused led to the creation of the Vermont State Police. Moving ahead to December 1st, 1949, the next disappearance involves a 68-year-old World War I veteran named James E. Tedford. Tedford was on a bus returning to the Vermont Soldiers' Home after a trip visiting his relatives. The bus driver, along with 14 other passengers, all confirmed seeing him on the bus before the last stop in Bennington. But as they arrived there, he was gone. All of his belongings remained untouched on his seat. His disappearance went unreported for a week, and despite efforts of investigating, there was no trace of him ever found. And later it was revealed that at the time of his bus ride, his family indicated that he had been experiencing some mental health challenges and was hesitant to go back to Bennington. Paul Jepson was an 8-year-old boy who disappeared on October 12, 1950, from his mother's truck in Bennington. His mother was tending to pigs at the town dump and left Paul alone in the truck for about an hour, and upon her return, the boy was gone. A manhunt for the boy ensued almost immediately, but despite a multi-day search with the state police and bloodhounds, he was never found. Paul's father later brought up that his son had repeatedly mentioned being drawn to the lure of the mountain. Some also noticed that the bloodhounds tracked his scent up to an abrupt end, to a location near where Paula Jean Weldon had disappeared. And the 5th disappearance occurred later that same month on October 28, 1950. Frida Langer was 53 years old and considered a very skilled hunter. While out hiking with her cousin, she slipped into a stream and soaked her clothes. She decided to head back to her cabin where her husband was to change clothes and meet her cousin back later. After some time, her cousin went back to the cabin to see where she was, and they discovered that she had never returned to the cabin. This led to extensive searches involving hundreds of people and helicopters. No one was able to find a body until 7 months later, on May 12, 1951. It was found by a fisherman and located about 3.5 miles away from the campsite where she disappeared, and it was in a location that was previously extensively combed through. They were unable to determine the cause of her death. Among these 5 cases, some chilling patterns were discovered. All disappeared in late fall and early winter, and most took place in the late afternoon. 4 of the 5 victims were never found, and most were familiar with the land. And the 2 younger victims, Paul and Paula, were both reportedly wearing red and were tracked to a similar disappearance site. Theories explaining these cases have speculated that a serial killer may be behind it due to the similarities of the disappearances. Others believe that given the timing and supernatural implications behind the region, that the explanation might be otherworldly, like portals or something even darker. Long before these disappearances, tales of strange powers and legends derived from the native Abenaki people. To this day, they believe that the Glastenbury Mountain is cursed and a place where the spirit world and physical world intersect, and warn hikers not to touch or disturb the mountain. The mountain has been called Wawanaset, which means place of evil winds. It's said that the winds in the area abruptly change directions and cause disorientation to those hiking. Tales of this dark energy have been passed down for generations and are still believed and talked about today. One of the most chilling tales from the Abenaki is that somewhere on Glastenbury Mountain there is a large moss-covered stone, and anyone who touches it vanishes. Some claim that the stone even has a mouth-like crack, as if it truly preys and consumes on those who come near it. Older stories from the Abenaki include tales of the Asenikiwak, a race of man-eating stone giants who sought to harm the earth around them and crush anything in their path. There are other tales of giants known as Kiwak, who were cannibalistic humanoids. Kiwak were believed to be originally human, but turned into a hybrid monster through evil deeds such as cannibalism or through possession of evil spirits. Some link these stories of spiritual level crimes to the paranormal activity and ominous energy found in the region. They are also theorized to be related to modern sightings of the Bennington monster that we will talk about later. In further relation to these tales of stone giants and man-eating stones, Glastenbury Mountain is home to a number of mysterious rock structures called cairns. These stacked stone structures are found sprinkled around the woods shaped like barrels and rectangles. The dating on them estimates that they are centuries old, and no one knows for sure who created them and why. Now, if haunted geology isn't your thing, the Bennington Triangle is oozing with other abnormal phenomena and tales. Deep in these hills near the mountain lies one of Vermont's most remote and mysterious towns, Glastenbury. Once a rugged logging town, Glastenbury, Vermont is now abandoned and well known for its ghost stories and paranormal aura. It was founded in 1761 and grew rapidly in the 1800s through the booming charcoal and lumber industries. It had operating trolleys to harvest trees from the mountain, and amongst the two villages, it had around 240 residents by 1880. However, things took a dark turn in 1898. Glastenbury experienced a catastrophic flood that wiped out its railroad system and devastated any chance to save its economy. By 1937, there was barely a soul left in the town, and it was eventually reclaimed by nature, leaving only the ruins of stone foundations and old charcoal kilns behind. A few miles south of Glastenbury lies Somerset, which is another ghost town, which was also charted in 1761 with a peak of about 300 residents. In the mid-1800s, Somerset too thrived from its logging capabilities, but experienced the same fate as Glastenbury. In the early 1900s, the construction of the Somerset Reservoir flooded parts of the town, which cut off transportation leaving the town unincorporated by 1937. What remains today are relics of the town: a one-room schoolhouse, old cellar holes, and a small cemetery tucked away into the woods. Some say that the catastrophes that these towns faced are due to the supernatural forces of the mountain and the Bennington Triangle as a whole. Glastenbury is often associated with the disappearances we talked about earlier, as it is in close proximity. And while both towns have been reclaimed by the woods, visitors are still allowed to go there today, as long as you can hike through some rugged terrain to get there. Just be sure you can navigate your way home. Many visitors around these ghost towns claim to hear metallic clangs and knocks in the woods. Some even hear voices and footsteps nearby. And while that is often associated with these ghost towns, locals will also inform you that it could be the Bennington Monster. The Bennington Monster is a creature that is said to roam the Bennington Triangle and has long been associated with the Abenaki folklore and the legends of the region. Eyewitnesses describe it as 6 to 8 feet tall with a massive muscular build. It has an ape-like body covered in dark reddish fur and is often accompanied with a sulfuric stench. Its red eyes can be seen glowing in the night before it lets out a guttural growl. Hikers who have encountered this beast have also reported hearing heavy footsteps, experiencing sudden feelings of uneasiness or dread, and seeing a large silhouette watching them from the trees. While this creature is very popular in Vermont, there is no officially confirmed evidence of it, but some hikers claim to have found large human-like footprints. Skeptics like to explain this story away by claiming it is a bare misidentification or from mass hysteria of a very popular local story, but the locals will tell you otherwise. Now, the Bennington Triangle isn't only known for the mysteries around the mountain, but also for the mysteries that are found above the mountain. This area has been a hotspot for UFO activity for decades, if not centuries. This includes balls of light structured crafts, and hovering discs that seem to consistently defy our laws of physics. The most common reports detail strange, glowing orbs of light that float through the woods. Most witnesses describe them as basketball-sized and are often orange, blue, or white, navigating their ways around the trees silently. One hiker in 1986 recalled an encounter saying, "It followed us along the trail for nearly 20 minutes. It didn't blink, it didn't flicker. It just glided between the trees like it was alive." Another report from a couple camping near Somerset in the early 2000s claimed they saw a blue light rise above the tree line and flew away. Moments later, their ears began ringing, and they realized an hour had gone by without them even realizing it. There have also been multiple eyewitness accounts of massive physical crafts that operate in complete silence in this area. A farmer near Woodford Hollow in 2011 claimed that a triangular craft was hovering above his pasture with 3 white lights on the edges and a red light in the center. He said it made a low electric hum, and his cows refused to go anywhere near that spot for days. There have been several other sightings around the region that match up with the description of the triangle that the farmer attested to, and are commonly linked to the Hudson Valley UFO sightings that took place a few hours south in the 1980s. Some rarer sightings involve metallic discs that reflect light and vanish without any sound. Whether or not these discs, crafts, and lights are from another world, a large portion of the sightings include physical effects. Watches and phones freeze and malfunction, car radios cut out and compasses spin erratically. Feelings of disorientation and time slippage occur, and EMF meters have seen to spike. Some investigators suspect that this region is on a ley line of geomagnetic energy in the Earth's atmosphere, but that doesn't explain what people are seeing. A lot of theories float around about why so many paranormal things are associated with this area. One of the most compelling theories circles around an event that transpired on August 16, 1777. On this day, the Battle of Bennington took place, a pivotal American victory in the Revolutionary War. British forces under General John Burgoyne were sent to seize and destroy assets from a supply depot in Bennington. On this mission, they were expecting a loosely defended stockpile of supplies, but were met with over 2,000 colonial militiamen led by General John Stark and Seth Warner's Green Mountain Boys. The battle resulted in about 900 British troops either captured, wounded, or killed, and only about 30 casualties from the American side. The mass amount of bloodshed and emotional trauma from this battle is theorized to have left spiritual echoes on the land, leading to the strange happenings in the area. Soldiers were buried in unmarked graves, and a large amount of blood was shed. Although this battle happened a little outside the triangle's boundaries, the town of Bennington commemorated this essential battle, and how they did it has raised some eyebrows from occult researchers. In 1889, construction started for the tallest man-made structure in Vermont, a 306-foot-tall obelisk to represent the Battle of Bennington located in Monument Circle and overlooking the surrounding area. The shape of the monument has significance and has ties to unconfirmed rumors of occult activity in this area. An obelisk that is inside or adjacent to a circle has been a symbol traditionally used in occult practices known as a circumpunct. It stems from ancient Egyptian mysticism and has been used by groups like the Freemasons to act as an energy antenna to harness Earth's electromagnetic energy, potentially to open portals. And in deeper practices, they are used for rituals to summon spirits or gain esoteric knowledge. Both visitors and researchers have experienced peculiar anomalies around the monument, including radiation spikes near the base, disorientation and nausea around the area, and strange electronic voice phenomena recorded near the tower. Now, is this all just a coincidence of correlating events that can't prove anything? Or is there something more sinister happening in the shadows? Although there is no confirmed cult activity in the area, the region of New England has had many instances of groups attempting to conduct these dark rituals, and many locals believe there is more here than meets the eye. Whether the disappearances were caused by a predator, sinkhole, or portal, whether the warnings are just legends or real concern for caution, and whether Glastenbury Mountain is under a ley line of supernatural energy or electromagnetic energy, there is no denying that the Bennington Triangle is one of the most mystifying paranormal zones in the country. And whatever you believe, if you find yourself in the area, stay on the trail and don't touch the stone.